Commander Korvac's booted foot crushed little Timmy's skull like an overripe melon, splattering the 6-year-old's brains across the Wagner military base's gleaming floor. Jerry Parker, the sole human witness to this horrific murder, froze in utter disbelief, the shipment of rare earth elements slipping from his hands and clattering to the ground. In his decade living amongst the Wagner as a space trader, leveraging his expertise in human tech to broker deals, he had never witnessed such blatant brutality, especially towards a child whose only crime was accidentally bumping the reptilian soldier. Rage boiled in Jerry's gut as he confronted the sneering commander, but at 45, the former soldier was no match for the Wagner's raw strength and advanced weapons. Korvac easily overpowered him, hissing a chilling revelation. The Wagner Empire, spanning hundreds of star systems, secretly planned to invade and conquer Earth, seeing humanity as a threat to their galactic dominance. As life faded from Jerry's broken body, he used his last ounce of strength to activate a hidden transmitter. His coded dying message to a secret human military installation on the outskirts of Wagner space contained just 3 words: Omega Protocol initiated. Jerry's final thought as darkness closed in: his death would not be in vain. The Wagner had no idea of the hell they had just unleashed upon themselves. Humanity would fight back with the only weapons that could defeat the reptilian menace. Weapons that had been sleeping in Cryo for decades, waiting for this very moment. The Wagner would soon learn to fear the human super-soldiers and regret the day they spilled even a single drop of innocent human blood. Light years away from the carnage on Wagner, Jerry's final message reached its destination. Deep within an unassuming asteroid field, a hidden human installation lay concealed: Prometheus Station. The top-secret research facility hummed with activity as Colonel Jack Hawkins, a grizzled 60-year-old veteran, reviewed the encrypted transmission. His brow furrowed as he deciphered the dire warning. Without hesitation, Hawkins summoned his senior staff to the command center. Dr. Samantha Chen, a brilliant 55-year-old scientist, strode into the room, her eyes sharp with anticipation. As the others took their seats, Hawkins wasted no time. "We have a situation. The Wagner are planning to invade Earth." Gasps echoed through the room. Dr. Chen leaned forward. "Colonel, I believe it's time to discuss Project Phoenix." Hawkins nodded grimly. "Go on." "As you know, we've successfully created a small group of genetically enhanced super-soldiers, 5 to be exact. Each possesses extraordinary strength, speed, intelligence, and regenerative capabilities." Dr. Chen paused, her expression serious. "However, due to ethical concerns and the potential for abuse, the project was shut down, and the soldiers were placed in cryogenic stasis." Hawkins considered the information, weighing the gravity of their situation. "Given the threat we face, I believe it's time to revive the Phoenix soldiers. They may be our best hope against the Wagner." With the decision made, the team sprang into action. Deep within the bowels of the station, 5 cryogenic pods hissed open, revealing the slumbering forms of the Phoenix soldiers: Captain Michael Titan Johnson, Lieutenant Sarah Ghost Williams, Sergeant John Hammer Thompson, Corporal David Raven Lee, and Private Emily Sparrow Davis emerged, their bodies adapting quickly to their awakening. Briefed on the impending Wagner invasion, the soldiers wasted no time. Despite their years in stasis, they fell back into their training with ease, familiarizing themselves with Prometheus Station's advanced weapons and technology. As the Phoenix team prepared for their critical mission, a breakthrough came from the station's intelligence division. They had intercepted a Wagner communication revealing the location of a key military installation on planet Xerxes 4. The message indicated that the Wagner were stockpiling weapons and ships there, readying for their assault on Earth. Colonel Hawkins gathered the soldiers, his eyes steely with resolve. "Your mission is to infiltrate the Xerxes 4 installation, gather intel, and sabotage their war efforts. We cannot let the Wagner succeed." The Phoenix soldiers, eager to prove their worth and defend their homeworld, accepted the mission without hesitation. They boarded the PSS Shadowhawk, a state-of-the-art stealth ship designed for covert operations. As the sleek vessel slipped out of Prometheus Station, The soldiers steeled themselves for the challenges ahead, knowing that the fate of humanity rested on their enhanced shoulders. The sleek PSS Shadowhawk sliced through the inky void of space, its state-of-the-art stealth technology rendering it virtually invisible to the Wognier's sensors. Inside the ship, the Phoenix soldiers prepared for their most challenging mission yet, infiltrating the heavily guarded military installation on Xerxes IV. Captain Michael Titan Johnson, a mountain of a man with a shaved head and piercing blue eyes, pored over the base's schematics, his enhanced mind processing the information at an astonishing rate. "All right, team," he said, his voice a low rumble. "We've got a small window to get in and out undetected. Ghost, you're on point. Disable their security systems and clear a path for the rest of us." Lieutenant Sarah Ghost Williams, a lithe figure with short jet-black hair and a mischievous glint in her dark eyes, grinned. "Consider it done, Cap. Those scaly bastards won't know what hit 'em." As the Shadowhawk docked at the base's airlock, the team split up, each soldier utilizing their unique abilities to navigate the complex. Ghost, true to her name, slipped through the shadows, her enhanced agility and hacking skills making short work of the Wognier's defenses. Meanwhile, Titan and the others made their way to the base's central command, where they hoped to find intel on the Wognier's invasion plans. As they searched through the alien computer systems, Captain Johnson stumbled upon a chilling discovery. The Wognir had developed a biological weapon, a virus codenamed Echidna, designed to wipe out human populations within days. "Shit," Titan muttered, downloading the virus's specifications onto a secure drive. "We need to get this back to Prometheus Station ASAP. Dr. Chen might be able to—" His words were cut short by the sound of blaster fire erupting in the hallway. The Phoenix soldiers sprang into action, their enhanced reflexes and combat training kicking in as they engaged the Wognir security team. Amidst the chaos, a familiar figure emerged. Commander Korvac, his reptilian eyes blazing with hatred. "You pathetic humans," he snarled. "Did you really think you could infiltrate my base and steal our secrets?" The battle was fierce, with the Phoenix soldiers showcasing their superior skills and teamwork. However, Korvac proved to be a formidable opponent, his raw strength and advanced weaponry allowing him to gain the upper hand. In a brutal display of power, Korvac managed to overpower Sergeant John Hammer Thompson, his razor-sharp claws tearing through the soldier's armor and flesh. Thompson crumpled to the ground, his life hanging by a thread. Private Emily Sparrow Davis, witnessing her teammates fall, let out a primal scream of rage. In that moment, something awoke within her, a previously unknown ability to manipulate energy fields. With a blinding flash of light, Davis unleashed a devastating attack on Korvac, sending the Wognir commander flying across the room. Korvac, severely wounded and barely conscious, managed to retreat with his remaining forces, his voice a venomous hiss as he vowed revenge against the humans. The Phoenix soldiers, battered but victorious, gathered their fallen comrade and the stolen Echidna samples, making their way back to the Shadowhawk. As they raced through the stars towards Prometheus Station, Dr. Samantha Chen's voice crackled over the comlink. "Phoenix team report, what's the situation?" Titan, his face grim, replied, "We've got the intel and the virus samples, but Hammer's down. He's in bad shape, Doc. We need your help." Dr. Chen, assessing the severity of Thompson's injuries through the ship's medical scanners, realized that conventional treatments wouldn't be enough. "Bring him to the medbay immediately upon arrival," she instructed, her mind racing. "I have an idea, but it's risky. We'll need to use the Lazarus system." Colonel Jack Hawkins, listening in on the conversation, felt a knot form in his stomach. The Lazarus nanotechnology was experimental and untested, but they had no choice. "Do it," he ordered, his voice gruff with concern. "We can't lose Hammer. Not now. Not like this." As the Shadowhawk docked at Prometheus Station, the Phoenix team rushed Thompson to the medical bay, where Dr. Chen and her team were waiting. The injured soldier was placed in a specialized chamber, his broken body suspended in a shimmering field of energy. Dr. Chen, her face a mask of concentration, initiated the Lazarus Protocol. Millions of microscopic nanites flooded Thompson's system, their advanced programming allowing them to repair damaged tissue and regenerate lost limbs at an astonishing rate. Hours passed as the Phoenix team watched in anxious silence, the steady beep of the medical monitors, the only sound in the room. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Thompson's eyes fluttered open, his vitals stabilizing as the Lazarus nanites completed their work. Relieved but still on edge, the rest of the Phoenix soldiers turned their attention to the stolen echidna samples. They knew that the virus posed an existential threat to humanity, and they were determined to find a way to stop it. As they began their analysis, working tirelessly to unravel the secrets of the deadly pathogen, a sense of urgency filled the air. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and the Phoenix team knew that they were the only ones who could prevent the Wagner from unleashing their devastating biological weapon upon the unsuspecting people of Earth. In Prometheus Station's medical bay, Dr. Chen pored over the data streaming from Sergeant Thompson's unconscious form, her eyes widening as she analyzed the Lazarus nanite's effects on his physiology. The microscopic machines had not only repaired his grievous injuries, but had also begun to enhance his neural pathways, forging new connections between his brain and the station's electronic systems. As Thompson stirred, his eyes snapping open, Dr. Chen leaned in, her voice urgent. "Sergeant, how do you feel?" Thompson blinked, his mind flooded with a torrent of information. He could sense the hum of the station's power grid, the intricate dance of data flowing through its networks. I can feel the station, Doc. It's like I'm part of it." Dr. Chen nodded, a mixture of excitement and trepidation in her eyes. "The nanites have given you the ability to interface with technology. This could be a game-changer." Colonel Hawkins, having witnessed Thompson's recovery, made a split-second decision. "Administer the Lazarus nanites to the rest of the Phoenix team. We're going to need every advantage we can get." As the remaining soldiers underwent the procedure, alarms blared throughout the station. The Wagner, seeking revenge for their defeat on Xerxes IV, had launched a massive counterattack. A fleet of warships, led by the dreadnought Reaper under the command of Admiral Zorgax, emerged from hyperspace, their weapons already firing. Prometheus Station shuddered under the onslaught, its shields straining to repel the relentless barrage. In the command center, Colonel Hawkins gritted his teeth as he watched the station's defenses crumble. "Initiate evacuation protocols. All personnel to the escape pods." Amidst the chaos, the Phoenix team, their bodies now thrumming with the power of the Lazarus nanites, sprang into action. Using their newfound abilities, they reached out with their minds, seizing control of the station's weapon systems. Plasma cannons and missile batteries roared to life, their fire tearing through the Wagner fleet with devastating precision. Titan, his eyes glowing with an eerie blue light, grinned as he watched a Wagner frigate explode under the onslaught. "Take that, you scaly bastards!" As escape pods and shuttles streamed from the battered station, the Phoenix team fought on, their enhanced reflexes and strength allowing them to push the station's systems beyond their limits. The Wagner dreadnought, its hull scorched and battered, began to retreat, but not before launching a final desperate assault. A Wagner boarding pod, its hull reinforced with advanced alloys, punched through the station's weakened defenses, disgorging a squad of elite soldiers led by none other than Commander Korvac. The once-defeated Wagner leader had been reborn, his body now a nightmarish fusion of flesh and machine, his eyes burning with an insatiable hunger for vengeance. The Phoenix team, their numbers already reduced by the relentless Wagner assault, found themselves locked in a brutal close-quarters battle with Korvac and his soldiers. The narrow corridors of the station rang with the sound of blaster fire and the clash of metal on metal as the two sides fought with a savage intensity. Captain Johnson, his body riddled with plasma burns, fell first, his dying breath a defiant curse against the Wagner. Lieutenant Williams and Corporal Lee followed soon after, their enhanced bodies pushed beyond their limits by the relentless onslaught. In the end, only Sergeant Thompson and Private Davis remained, their armor scorched and battered, their faces grim with the knowledge of what must be done. As Korvac and his soldiers closed in, the two soldiers shared a final, determined look. "Sparrow, you thinking what I'm thinking?" Thompson asked, his voice rough with exhaustion and pain. Davis nodded, a faint smile playing across her blood-streaked face. "The reactor core, it's our only chance." Together, the two soldiers fought their way through the crumbling station, their nanite-enhanced bodies allowing them to push past the pain and fatigue. They lured Korvac and his remaining troops deeper into the station, towards the pulsing heart of the reactor core. As the chamber doors sealed behind them, Thompson and Davis knew that their time had come. With a final defiant roar, Thompson plunged his fist into the reactor's control panel, his nanites surging forth to overload the core. Davis, her body wreathed in an aura of crackling energy, unleashed a final devastating blast of power, the shockwave tearing through the chamber and beyond. In a blinding flash of light and heat, Prometheus Station vanished from the stars, consumed by the fury of its own reactor. The Vognier fleet, caught in the blast, was scattered and broken, their dreadnought reduced to a drifting hulk of twisted metal and debris. And amidst the wreckage, the last of the Phoenix soldiers, their bodies broken and their minds consumed by the inferno, found a final, bittersweet peace in the knowledge that they had given their lives so that others might live. The Vognier had been dealt a devastating blow, but the war was far from over. In the cold void of uncharted space, the remnants of humanity clung to a hidden outpost, a secret fallback location known only to a select few. Colonel Jack Hawkins, his face haggard and his eyes haunted by the ghosts of the fallen, oversaw the base's operations with a heavy heart. The destruction of Prometheus Station and the loss of the Phoenix team weighed on him like a lead weight, a constant reminder of the price they had paid in their war against the Vognier. In the outpost's medical facility, Dr. Samantha Chen worked tirelessly, her once vibrant features now etched with lines of exhaustion and grief. She had succeeded in developing a countermeasure to the deadly echidna virus, a glimmer of hope in an otherwise bleak landscape. The antidote, mass-produced and distributed among the surviving human colonies, offered a measure of protection against the Vognier's biological weapon. As the human survivors prepared for what they believed would be the final confrontation with the Vognier Empire, a shocking message pierced the somber atmosphere. Colonel Hawkins, his eyes widening in disbelief, listened as the distorted voice of Private Emily Davis crackled through the comm system. "Colonel Hawkins, this is Private Davis. Sergeant Thompson and I, we survived the destruction of Prometheus Station. We're alive, but we're different now." Hawkins gripped the edge of the console, his knuckles turning white. "Davis, how? Where are you?" Davis's voice was strained, laced with a metallic undertone that sent a chill down Hawkins's spine. "We're in the heart of the Vognier Empire, sir. We've discovered something terrible. The Vognier, they're not just invading for conquest. They're desperate. Their homeworld, Zephyrus Prime, it's dying. They see Earth as their only chance for survival." Hawkins felt a wave of conflicting emotions wash over him, relief at the survival of his soldiers, horror at the revelation of the Vognier's true motives, and a growing sense of unease at the change in Davis's voice. "What happened to you? How did you survive?" There was a pause, a heavy silence that seemed to stretch for an eternity. When Davis spoke again, her voice was a whisper. "We had to do things, sir. Things we never thought we'd do. We've been changed, infused with Vognier cybernetics. It was the only way to survive, to infiltrate their empire." Hawkins closed his eyes, the weight of the situation bearing down on him like a physical force. He knew that the choices made in the heat of battle, in the face of certain death, could haunt a soldier forever. "What's your plan, Davis?" "We're going to sabotage the Vognier's main power grid, sir. Plunge their cities into darkness and chaos. It's the only way to give you a fighting chance. When the time comes, you'll know what to do." With those ominous words, the transmission cut off, leaving Hawkins alone with his thoughts. He summoned his remaining officers, his voice steady despite the turmoil raging within him. "Prepare the fleet. We're going to hit the Vognier where it hurts. We'll show them the true strength of humanity, the resilience of our spirit." As the human fleet, led by the newly christened PSS Phoenix, set out on its final mission, Colonel Hawkins couldn't shake the feeling that this victory, if it came, would be a hollow one. The cost had already been too high, the sacrifices too great. In the heart of the Wagner Empire, Sergeant Thompson and Private Davis, their bodies a fusion of flesh and alien metal, moved silently through the shadows. They had made their choice, betraying the very species that had created them in order to save humanity from extinction. With a final decisive strike, they plunged the Wagner's power grid into darkness. The once gleaming cities now shrouded in an eerie, oppressive gloom. The human fleet, seizing the opportunity, unleashed a devastating assault on the weakened Wagner defenses. The battle was a maelstrom of fire and blood, the screams of the dying mingling with the roar of weapons and the shattering of glass. The Wagner fought with the fury of a cornered beast, their desperation fueling their savagery, but in the end, it was not enough. The human fleet, battered but unbroken, emerged victorious. The Wagner Empire reduced to smouldering ruins and shattered dreams. But as Colonel Hawkins stood on the bridge of the PSS Phoenix, surveying the devastation wrought by their final, desperate gambit, he felt no joy, no sense of triumph. For in the heart of the Wagner's fallen capital, amidst the twisted wreckage and the flickering embers, lay the broken bodies of Sergeant Thompson and Private Davis. Their cybernetic enhancements, pushed beyond their limits, had failed them in the end, their lives sacrificed for a victory that tasted like ashes in Hawkins' mouth. As the remnants of the human fleet limped back to Earth, Colonel Hawkins couldn't escape the gnawing doubt that plagued his every waking moment. Had they truly won? Or had they, in their quest for survival, become the very thing they had fought against? In the silence of his quarters, Hawkins stared out into the void, the weight of the future pressing down on his shoulders. He couldn't help but wonder if the cycle of violence and retribution would ever end, or if humanity, like the Wagner before them, would one day find themselves facing the same desperate choices in the face of their own extinction. The war was over, but the scars it had left behind would linger forever, a testament to the price of survival in a universe that cared nothing for the dreams and hopes of the fragile beings that called it home. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.